Hello fellow modelers, in this video I'm going to build legendary aircraft Douglas DC-3 and this time with a funny electronic features. The plastic kit is made by Trumpeter and is on the large 1/38 scale. In the box is a few plastic sprues but with large parts like wings or fuselage. The surface has already molded rivet lines. It looks nice from a distance, however they are a little bit out of the scale, and I think it will be difficult to restore them on the bond of the two halves of a fuselage. Anyway, let's start with model assembly. The kit has full interior, therefore almost 80% of parts are for this purpose. I glue parts together with a super thin glue, because it is easy to use it and application is straightforward. Now I need to assemble a few seats. Hopefully it is a good old plane, only with 21 seats for passengers. Actually, now I realized that I'm very glad that it is not Airbus A380 with 519 seats. Oof. As you can see, assemble this model is very easy and straightforward. Mostly new 1/35 scale tanks with a full interior are much more difficult. I already built a few models, but this one is the largest, if you do not count Imperial Star Destroyer from Star Wars. It was a different story. Anyway, I decided to install some nice electronic into the model. I start with electrical engines. I have some experience with programming engine speed and control all with a microcontroller, but this time it will be easy so that everyone can do that. I have a few destroyed servo for my small RC helicopter. I know I am terrible pilot. However, even for such large plastic model are big. Maybe I will use them for a car or something where will be more space. Therefore, I needed something smaller. So I found nice microelectric DC motors at eBay for a few dollars. The pack of 10 motors cost me $4 and free shipping from China. It sounds crazy. If you are playing with electronics, this is the cheapest way how to get components if you do not count free scrap electronics from junkyard. The engine perfectly fits to the plastic part, so you don't need to modify anything as I tried before. You only need to drill a small hole to a propeller. I don't want to make commercial for eBay, so I bought these micro drill bits from AliExpress this time. Also $11 for the whole box, and I already broke 2 drill bits because they are too thin and fragile. The micro motors works at 3 volts battery, therefore it's easy to use it and test it. Now I create landing lights from a white 5mm light emitting diode. You can glue diode to direct place with a Holdman glue gun, but I use epoxy putty. I use a red small 2mm LED to cockpit. I don't know if it's realistic, but at least it's more interesting than white or yellow light. And I glue self-flashing diode into a tail. Very cool are these micro SMD diodes. I tried to buy them separately and solder wires by myself. but it was almost impossible. So I found that exist micro SMD diodes with wires. With these components you are not limited by the size of the model. I think I will use them for some smaller scale airline models in the future. By the way, you can find them also on Chinese shops. The direct link is in the description under video with all other components. I have these flat LEDs for passenger interior. They have more natural yellow light than ordinary LEDs. Now I cover ugly pinholes with a Tamiya white putty. I cover LEDs with a masking liquid before painting. I almost forget to glue seatbelts. In the kit are included photo etch parts, however it's a very dull step, so I show you only one and the rest I skip. So now is everything prepared for painting. In the manual is not described what color to use for different sections, so I used some photos and references which I found at Google. Okay, that was airbrush painting. Now it's time for final details, which I paint with an ordinary paintbrush. I use Revel Aqua colors and nice flat brush from Army Painter. Now I paint engines with a lacquer silver color and then I apply dark wash. I also apply wash on the interior, but first I must cover acrylic color with a clear lacquer varnish, because otherwise it's hard to remove excess wash. I wipe excess wash with a dry paper napkin, but if you will have a problem to clean surface, even so you can moisten napkin with an enamel thinner. It is always better to remove color from plastic before gluing. I do not have thin conductors yet, so I use the regular UTP cable. The blue one is for engines, orange for landing lights and green for position lights. At least UTP cable has nice colors. I am going to use ordinary 10-volt battery for the whole model, therefore I can connect 3 LEDs to one series. Now I cover ugly wires with the plastic parts from the kit. It is not a problem to connect one LED to 9-volt battery with a resistor, but for engines I need only 3 volts, so I use this voltage converter. It works quite well with a good efficiency. The resistors are for LEDs, especially landing lights and position lights where are only 2 LEDs in series. Now I have all LEDs connected and correct voltage for engines, therefore I can glue fuselage and wings together. I know it's a quite mess. I need for future projects thinner wires and think more about wires placement. However, all will be covered inside of the model. The bond is not very smooth, therefore I need a lot of putty for plastic. I let it dry properly for 6 hours and then I sand excess putty with a sponge sandpaper. When the process is done, I rescribe some pan lines and make new rivets with a small drill. I cannot use rivet tool, because the rivets are too large and deep. Therefore the best way is to make it similar like on the rest of the model is to drill each hole with a microelectric drill. I clean dust and grease from the surface with industrial alcohol before painting. Now I spray model with a primer. It also reveals me a lot of imperfections, which I must clean again with a sandpaper. I need to cover the whole model with a black clear color, because it is the best primer for silver color. On the surface is now a little bit of color dust from spraying, so I use for this purpose smooth sanding cloth. So finally I can spray silver color. I use Mr. Color 8 silver. It is not the best silver color, but it has excellent coverage properties, and it is not too much expensive, so for the base layer is sufficient. I have Mr. Color Super Metallic for the better final shine effect. This color is quite expensive, so I use it only for the final layer. The result is now much better and shinier, at least I think. In the end, I protect the result with a few layers of a clear varnish. Now I can apply decals. Maybe you already realize that Alaska Airlines scheme is not included in the kit. So maybe you are asking where to buy them. Probably nowhere, at least I didn't find them for the scale. I simply draw new decals in the Corel Draw graphical editor and let them print in professional decals printer, because they can print with a white color. And don't worry, I will not use Red Bull decals for this model. It will be for another 1st April model and video. Anyway, you can find the file with the decals in the description under video, and also a link where I printed decals. It is an A5 size sheet, and cost for printing is mostly $12 or $15. I thought that I would paint blue stripes with masking tape, but I found difficult to apply mask straight and to correct position. So I have an easy trick. I have clear white decal sheet for a laser printer. Unfortunately, I have a laser printer only with a black color. So I decided to spray blue stripes on the white decal sheet with an airbrush and acrylic color. Actually, I was surprised that it is a useful technique and the result looked like an original decal. Maybe I could include registration number to decals, but I wanted to spray it with an airbrush. This time it is not so tricky like thin blue stripes. I only cut out a mask from template with a sharp hobby knife. The model is almost finished. I protect decals and surface with another layer of a clear lacquer varnish. I think it's the correct time for electrical engines. I solder wires with a micro soldering iron and then cover bare wires with a flexible electrical tape. It will prevent shortcuts. Now I glue propeller with a super glue. Ah, water relief, it's working. I do not want to make a lot of weathering because it is an airline model, so I only apply brown oil wash to pan lines and let it dry for 20 minutes. Now I can simply clean excess wash with a dry paper napkin. Last but not least, I glue all small details and paint position lights with a transparent enamel color. It was again interesting and unusual project. However, it was quite difficult for me to build, paint and film with a huge model because I don't have a lot of space on my working table. Therefore, I usually making small models. In any case, it was an interesting experience. I hope you like the result just a little bit. So, thanks for watching and see you next time.